Hey, right guys, TheTrophyMuncher's Joe here, and today we are going to be doing a character tier list for the Netflix show Wednesday, which I finished. I watched the finale literally yesterday, so still very fresh in my mind. I didn't plan to do a character tier list for this show, but as I got towards the end of it, I was like, you know what, these characters feel like they actually have a personality. I know, wild, so why not do it? I think the last one I did was House of the Dragon or something, so these are fun to do, and someone actually has already made one, so shout out to Katie AEP on Twitter. I didn't have to go scavenging for all the images myself because I just searched it, and this person has already made a tier list, and I had to check. And sometimes I look at the tier list and people have missed out like 5 or 6 characters, and so I tried to make my own. But this one I didn't need to because I've done a pretty good job, I think. So yeah, we'll just go through. We've got the spookiest. I think I think the spookiest is like a compliment in this show, so that can be at the top. Then we have the greats, the pretty good characters, the characters that definitely exist. There are some characters that do exist, and then the characters that need to leave. Escort yourself away from the show Wednesday, please. Leave over there. So let's be. I don't know where to start. I kind of with these, I like to save the main characters till the end and try and get like the side characters done. So, but saying that, I think all the characters here kind of had a major role to play. So we'll start with this ball bag. I thought he was a pretty bad villain. Um, I know he wasn't like the main villain of the show, so it didn't damage it too much. But he just kind of came in. Oh yeah, of course there will be spoilers for Wednesday if you haven't seen it. But he just kind of came in at the end, threw an arrow at Wednesday, or she jumped in the way of it. Then he set fire to some water and then died. So that we're going to say please leave on him. I don't think he was the best villain of the show. Saying that, I don't think the villains were super strong in the show, but he was definitely the weakest one. In the flashback, he kind of worked because I think it made sense for what was going on there. But here he's just running his mouth, talking some gibberish, and then he talked shit and found out because Wednesday got him done within about 5 seconds. So kind of embarrassing for him, but yeah, he's done. Don't need to see him again, I'd assume. Let's do Goody. She was barely in the show, like maybe like 3 scenes, played by Jenna Ortega, of course, and then she died at the end. She was like, okay, I can heal you, but you're never going to see me ever again, which I'm like, okay, fine. I thought she was pretty good. She didn't do much, but I don't know, I kind of felt like she was one of those characters that I wish didn't die at the end because I felt like there could have been more between her and Wednesday in season 2 or something. I kind of like that it was like her, but in the past, and they kind of had that ancestral bond between them both. But yeah, they didn't really do too much with it. She just kind of was there as like a Hail Mary at the end to heal Wednesday from dying, basically. So that's fine, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more of her, maybe. I don't think she was bad, though. I think she's just kind of like, she's pretty good, pretty good. Let's do, I forgot her name. Was it like Robot or something? Therapist Robot? Kimberly Robot or something, I don't know. The therapist that died. I think a lot of these characters died actually. Let's check. Died. I think no, got knocked out at the end, so didn't die. Almost died. 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 Almost died. I think they died. Yeah, they definitely did die. So quite a few deaths in this show actually. We have the mayor as well, who isn't here. He died. So yeah, we'll put her, I think, in They Definitely Exist. I think she was okay. She was kind of like the therapist character and was there to, spur some information to some characters. I don't think as a character she was super interesting, and they just killed her off as well, so she never really like reached some form of potential, I guess. She served a purpose, I guess, and I like the scene where she was giving therapy to the whole family. I thought was kind of fun, but yeah, not too much to say about the therapist. She definitely existed in the show. Original Wednesday. I forgot a name in the show. I can't remember. I forgot a name in the show, but or not the original Wednesday, but Wednesday from the 90s. Was it the 90s the film came out? I don't know. I've not watched it. Pretty cool that they got her involved in this show, though. I thought she was a pretty good villain. I was kind of a bit gutted that she was because I thought like maybe the bond between her and Wednesday could have been quite strong, but hopefully, if they manage to bring her back, Principal Weaselbees, in season 2, then they can kind of have that bond maybe that these two kind of could have had. But yeah, it wasn't. I don't think she was the most interesting character, but seemed pretty wholesome up to the point where we found out she was the villain and the one behind it the entire time. So I'll put her in pretty good, probably. Well, I've just figured I've put Goody in pretty good. that kind of works actually. So yeah, you can't put her in anything else but that. But yeah, I'm going to put her in pretty good as well, just above Goody. Had a bit more to do, I think, as a villain, and she was pretty fun all around, even in the end when you found out she was the villain. I kind of liked her more when she was looking out for Wednesday and kind of had wholesome vibes going on, but it is what it is. Rest in peace. Or maybe not. I love that Eugene maybe almost killed her with bees, but I think, well, Wednesday kicked her at the end. We didn't really see what happened to her after that, but I think I'm assuming she got shipped off to like Arkham Asylum or something. So yeah, pretty good character. Bianca will save. Let's do Medusa. But Barry, I forgot his name. Medusa, the guy who turned himself to stone, which is actually pretty embarrassing. Didn't really do much. Just kind of had a romance with Enid. Had a few lines of dialogue. I think he's one of the more likable male characters. I'd say he's better than Rowan, better than most. Yeah, better than him. What was his name? Dudley or something. I'll put him in. I'm torn between the top of They Definitely Exist, or I'll put him in pretty good actually, because even the few scenes he was in, he never really like annoyed me or anything. I thought he was a likable character, and I thought the back and forth between him and Enid was kind of wholesome. I wouldn't say I like shipped them or anything like that, but it worked. It wasn't the worst, most egregious romance that this show tried to push. So, if anything, actually, it's probably one of the better ones. So, again, I'm not that fussed about the romance in the show, as I said in the reactions. So, maybe that's why I didn't love this character, because that's all his character was kind of serving a purpose for, was to be a romance option for Enid. Again, he was trying to be like one of the side friends as well, but he didn't really do too much in that department. But he was likable. He was a good character, so we'll put him in pretty good. Let's go with Eugene, my boy, kind of fumbling his words, fumbling the bag a bit here and there. Then he died. He didn't really. He kind of like was out of commission for about 3 hours, so quite a long time, and then he came in clutch at the end with a swarm, an army of bees. So yeah, Eugene makes me laugh. I wouldn't say he's like the most lovable character of all time, but I'll put him in greats. He's just a fun character to be around, I guess. Nothing too egregious. He was never annoying. I feel like a character like Eugene can come across as really annoying in other shows. You're just like, oh my, go away, you're not doing anything. But they did a good job with Eugene, where he balanced it from like, okay, you could be annoying, but you're actually kind of likable, and his back and forth with Wednesday was pretty fun as well. And then he died for 3 episodes, and, and he didn't actually die, like I say, but yeah, pretty great character. Hopefully he has more to do in... Actually, I don't want him to have more to do in Season 2. Keep him at the same amount as you did in this season. I think too much of Eugene could get a bit much, but yeah, they did a good job with him for sure. Let's do Dudley. I do know his name. It's like toilet... I can't remember. He threw grenades into a pond at one point and then was bullied in the very first scene. I'm sure he's a fan favourite in the Addams family. I'm sure he is, but I'm going off this show Wednesday, and I actually don't have other things to compare it to because I've not seen any of the past stuff, so that actually kind of helps with this. For this show, I'm going to say definitely exists. I don't love him. He's fine. I'm sure there's a great bond between him and Wednesday. You can tell they actually do love each other as well, and Wednesday, with the few people Wednesday actually does love, he's definitely going to be up on that list. So there is that. But as a character, like I say, he had one scene at the start where he's being bullied, and then he had a few scenes in episode 5, and in episode 5, out of the family, he's probably the least interesting, honestly. But he's okay. Nothing, again, too annoying about him. He just didn't do much for me. He's like, yeah, he exists. He's fine. I'm sure we'll get more of him in season 2. Let's get Rowan out of the way, because I don't know why Rowan's still there. Please leave. I don't have anything to say about Rowan. He died in episode 1. And then that was it. That was Rowan. He tried to kill Wednesday, failed, and died. That's all you can really say about Rowan. Who else we got? I think these are all kind of main characters now. So let's do... Are they? I'd say from here, maybe. These 3, maybe not so much, just because they weren't in it as much. So let's do Gomez. He's a pretty fun character. I like the actor. I've seen him in a few things, like say Narcos, and there's a couple of other things I pulled up in episode 5, but I can't remember. Pretty good actor. As a character, he's probably my least favourite out of these 3, so I'll put him in pretty good, but probably at the bottom. Again, sure we'll get more of him and all the Addams family in season 2, assuming, again, still it's not officially been renewed yet, but I'm rooting for it. I'm pretty sure it will be. I don't see a world where it doesn't. So, yeah, Gomez was a decent character. Again, liked his back and forth with Wednesday. And we had a whole episode kind of about his flashback and him being put in prison. So that was fun. While we're at it, let's do Morticia. I'm going to put her in the greats, probably above Eugene. Out of the Addams family, I think she was my favourite. Close with Uncle Fester. I just think Uncle Fester, he kind of was in that one episode, which he was good in, and then he disappeared in the finale. Like, the finale, he was nowhere to be seen, which was a bit strange. But Uncle Fester was very good in the episode he was in, and Morticia, I think, carried episode 5. And I liked her kind of back and forth with Wednesday, where up to episode 5, Wednesday was kind of like, nah, I don't want to be compared to my mom, I don't like her, stop talking about it, please. And then episode 5, they kind of had a bit more of an appreciation for each other, I think. Like, I think digging up bodies together probably did it for Wednesday, in terms of finding that new respect for a mum. So yeah, Morticia can go at the top of greats, and Uncle Fester can go... I think at the bottom of greats. I think if we had a bit more of him, he'd be above Eugene, but I think Eugene just had so much more in this show, whereas Uncle Fester was a lot of fun though. Again, he's kind of one of those characters where you wouldn't want it to be overdone. Like, you don't want him around all the time, but the amount they used him in the season, I think, was a perfect amount. I think we could have done a little bit with him in episode 8, but it's fine. I might have missed whether he went, by the way. That could be entirely on me. I just might have missed a line of dialogue where they mentioned where he went, so I will keep that in mind. Alright, these are the big characters now, so let's do the sheriff. Sheriff, I don't know his name, just Sheriff. What was his name? Ian or Bill? I don't really know. Let's go. I thought he's pretty good. I thought the actor did a very good job. I've seen the actor in quite a few things. He's always like one of those actors that you recognise. I'm going to say pretty good. Maybe there. Kind of slap bang in the middle of pretty good. He was a sheriff. If you've seen a sheriff in any TV show ever, then that is him. He played the sheriff role very well, but I do feel like sheriffs in a lot of these TV shows do just kind of come off as the same. You Wednesday, you're always getting in the way, you're always getting on my nerves. Well, you're chatting a load of waffle. But to be fair to him, he did actually listen to Wednesday quite a few times. When she started to bring in the evidence, it wasn't all like, oh, you're delusional, it's all in your head or anything like that, which would have been way too more cliche on the sheriff's side. So I'm glad that he did listen and took the evidence into account up until he kind of was told that it was his son. Then he was having none of it, but I mean, that's understandable. But yeah, he was a good character. He was fine. Let's go Gwendolyn all the way to the top. Principal, Bimble, Pimple. Gwendolyn I adore. I think she seems like one of the most wholesome... No, I don't know. She just seems like one of the most wholesome actresses working at the moment. I don't know. Ever since like early Game of Thrones, I've really liked her. And then seeing more interviews with her when she was on like Star Wars and stuff, kind of, even though her character is one of the weaker parts of Star Wars, but as an actress, she's one of the better parts. And then I'm just happy she's getting big roles like this. And then I know she's in The Sandman as well, which I've not seen, but I've heard she's very good in it. And yeah, she was one of the best acting-wise, I think, in the show. Kind of, again, gutted they decided to kill off her character in Season 1, but maybe not. I'm really hoping they bring it back in Season 2, because I think there's more to do with the character. There's so much more of a story to tell, and she was one of the more interesting parts, for sure. Her back and forth with Wednesday was one of my favourite dynamics in the show as well, so I think it'd be a shame to lose that. And I think someone mentioned that in an interview. Gwendolyn said that we never actually saw her body being buried or anything like that. And if I thought in my head, if we have a hand that's been stitched up and stabbed to death and is walking around, then I'm sure we can come up with some reason as to why Gwendolyn is actually still alive. So make it happen, because she needs to be in Season 2. I thought she was great. So one of my favourite characters for sure. Let's do Xavier or Clive Owen Tyler, whatever his name is. Which one? Let's do Xavier. I'm going to put Xavier in pretty good, maybe there. Again, like I said in the reactions, I don't not like Xavier. I just thought like the love triangle they tried to do with him, Wednesday, and Clive Owen Tyler guy was the least interesting part of the entire show. I've gone on about that obviously in the reactions, but just saying that for people who might not watch the reactions. Yeah, I didn't care for the love triangle, but Xavier was fine. He was a good character. I wouldn't say he was like as bad as like Down into They Exist or anything, because he did actually do something, but he did get a bit annoying at times when he's trying to really push for that romance. And I don't know, I just felt like he was at his best when he was aiding Wednesday and like being an ally and a friend and all that and doing his thing, I guess. But as soon as it came to the romance stuff, I was like, okay, rather than Marty again, that's great. So yeah, he was a good character. Do I prefer him or Clive Tyler Owen definitely had more to do, but they were definitely pushing more the Wednesday and Tyler Clive Owen romance. So whereas Xavier, I feel like he was more just on the sidelines watching, being really upset that he wasn't involved. It's a hard one. I'm probably going to put him in pretty good as well, because I don't think he's great, but he did have more to do. I could put them next to each other, honestly, like that. These two could interchange. They feel like the same character in some ways. I don't know. These two, I think if they're going to have these two characters in season 2, I think and they want to have a romance with Wednesday, I think maybe make them a bit more interesting would be nice. Again, they weren't bad or anything. They just weren't as interesting as some of the other characters. So they can go slap bang in the middle, both of them. That's fine with me. Bianca, I'm going to put her in... I'm going to go great, honestly. Maybe above Uncle Fester. Not as good as Eugene for me, because I guess she was meant to be the bully character, but I felt like that only lasted like the first couple of episodes, and even then it wasn't like too bad. I thought we were like, okay, here's the bully character of the show, but I don't know, she was just competitive. That was really it. And she didn't really love Wednesday, but then kind of came around on the end. And she came in clutch at the end, stabbed ball bag guy here in the back, which came in clutch. So yeah, Bianca, pretty good character. I liked the whole siren thing, like she kind of had a past with Xavier, so there's a bit more to a character. And then also her mum, who came in for episode 5, you can tell something was going on there. So Bianca, I feel like they're set up to have more of an interesting role in season 2, probably. But I think for the most part, I was actually surprised by how much I liked the character, because I did just think it was going to be like the bully character of the show, and that didn't seem to be the case. So yeah, I like Bianca. She's cool. All right, we got the big 3 here. These are the big 3. So let's get this out of the way. Thing is up there, obviously. I love him. How can you not love Thing? I'm assuming Thing's a he. I don't know. It kind of looks like a man-hand, so I'm going to go with a he. Unless Wednesday mentioned, I don't even know. But I don't know. I don't know how they managed to make a character that is a hand that says nothing and crawls around doing sign language this likable. Good job. I mean, when he was dying and almost died, I was kind of feeling that a little bit. And then when he held on to Enid's hand in the finale as well, and always looking out for Wednesday, he's just always just getting shit done. Thing don't piss about. He's getting stuff done constantly. So I think without Thing, Wednesday would have got nowhere this season. So yeah, I love Thing. Keep him around as much as they did in season 1 for sure. Enid, of course, we're going right at the top again. Better than Thing? Yeah. Enid's like, well, Thing is a character, but you know, Enid, you can kind of tell, has a story and emotions. But again, the Thing has emotions, so I don't know what I'm on about. But Enid, yeah, I love Enid. More of like the 180 of who Wednesday is, with like the colourful vibe, like even the rooms, like the first shot in episode, or not the first shot in that one, but one of the first shots when they're interacting, where it's like all the colour on this side and all the dark black on this side with Wednesday. I thought was quite an interesting way to be like, okay, this is their dynamic, this is how it's going to be between them both. And Enid did a great job. Their hug at the end, one of my favourite moments of the entire season. Like Wednesday just kind of backing up and then looking at like, oh, it's Enid, yeah, we're at that point now, and goes in for the hug. So yeah, very likeable character. Again, kind of like Eugene, where it could balance that quite annoying at times, but I never felt like she tipped over into the annoying part. So yeah, we love Enid. And then we've got Wednesday. I mean, we might as well, while we're here, let's Jenna Ortega, add a row above. No, wait, what have I done? No, I've just done it wrong. Spookiest. And then this one needs to be, no, let's try that again. Yep. Jenna Ortega, And there we go, right at the top, where she belongs. Jenna Ortega was, again, I don't want to say she carried the show, but she was a huge part as to why the show was so entertaining. As I said in the finale again, but I'll repeat it here, to have a character that basically shows no emotion the entire show and make them that likable and that much fun to watch and get that involved in the mystery and the dynamic between whether it's Enid or Thing or Gwendolyn's character or Morticia or Eugene or Bianca, all these characters you kind of had like at least a really good dynamic with. And I think a big part of that is to do with Jenna Ortega's performance. I don't think this show would have been as strong as it is if either you got a different actress or if Jenna Ortega was not as strong as she was in this show. So, which was never going to happen, let's be honest. So, yeah, Jenna Ortega, great job as Wednesday. Wednesday's character, again, I've never had that like connection with Wednesday or the Addams family, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. But I've not heard like a fan of the Addams family say that this version of Wednesday is bad or anything. So I assume unanimously pretty much everyone's satisfied with this performance of Wednesday. So yeah, that's kind of how I'm feeling about the characters. So these two characters really did not care. Bad villain, boring villain, didn't really care. Rowan died in that one, so there's no way you're going to get attached to his character. These two existed. I'm sure people love his character, but for me, I'm just like, he existed. All these were pretty good, like Gomez, Medusa, Sheriff Guy, Goody, Neil, Xavier, and Original Wednesday. Also not really Original Wednesday, but you get what I mean. Yeah, I'd say they're all pretty good characters. I wish we could get more of Goody in season 2. They need to work on these two a bit, I think, in season 2. Keep her gone, I'm not too fussed about that. Sheriff, I'm sure, will be the sheriff. Yeah, give him a bit more in season 2, I think would work. All the Addams family are going to get more to do in season 2, that's for sure. The Grace, I think, keep Eugene at the same amount. I think too much of Eugene will be too much. But yeah, I think they did a good job with his character. I'm sure we'll get more of Uncle Fester. Bianca, show more of her personal storyline. I think in season 2 would be great. Also, the characters aren't included in here, but Yoko, I think would be in pretty good, maybe the middle. I thought like she seemed interesting. We just didn't get much of her. Then the mayor, and there was Marcus, the mayor's son, the mayor would be in They Definitely Exist, and Marcus would be probably in pretty good, maybe towards the bottom end. Yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way to get images of those characters because I can't be bothered. And then yeah, these 4 just amazing. Loved all 4 of these characters, so good stuff. Like I said, I'm surprised by how much I enjoyed the show. I had no intention of really reacting to it, but you guys convinced me, and I'm very glad you did. Fun show. I still stick by my 8 out of 10 rating, and I'm intrigued to see what they do with season 2. So thank you for watching, guys. Let me know if you agree with this rating, who you would swap, who you would change, who you'd put on the top. I mean, the top here is Jenna Ortega, so you can't really put anyone else on the top there, but who you'd put on the second top away from Jenna Ortega, if that makes any sense. But yeah, I'm trying to think what the next character tier list will be. I think that'll be it for the year, character tier. I'm going to do a character tier list for every TV show I've watched this year, every film I've watched this year, and every game I've played this year. So we do that at the end of every year, so I'm going to do that, of course. But I think that's it in terms of characters, which is pretty cool. So the final character tier list of the year goes to Wednesday. I can't think of any show better. So yeah, I'll see you next time for season 2, episode 1, or unless you watch any of these other reactions. Until then, take care. Peace.